Hello, so today I'm going to be showing you some beginner steps to posture for your violin or viola. I have my lovely viola right here. We're going to start with just our bow so we can set down our instruments. Now for a beginner bow hold, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure, and for any bow hold actually, first thing you want to do, make sure your hands feel nice and relaxed. We don't want to have any sort of tension in our hands when we're creating or maintaining our bow hold. Our bow holds don't actually, we don't actually hold the bow, it's more we balance it in our fingers. So we should never feel like we're gripping on. Now, first things first, with your violin or viola hand, we are gonna hold the bow by the stick away from the frog, more so towards the upper middle. Now with your bow hand, throw it out in front of you like a zombie hand and let your fingers dangle loose. Now we're gonna bring our bow up under our fingers, letting our fingers just hang naturally. Almost like they're hanging from monkey bars. See, they have that nice curve over the bow there. Now, we're gonna take our thumb, carefully place it right on the ferrule of the bow here, right underneath this little silver piece. We're gonna be creating a circle. You should almost have a looking glass right there. I can see you. Have a looking glass. And now, with your other fingers, first gonna wanna take our middle two fingers, 2 and 3. You're gonna place those over this black piece of your bow here. Let them feel like wet spaghetti noodles. Just nice and dangly. Now, point your finger. We are going to lay that right on the grip of your bow. You should be making contact between your first and second joints, right on this part right here. It's gonna lay there, and now your pinky is gonna perch on top like a bird. We wanna have a nice curved pinky, all fingers for that matter. Nice curved pinky, we don't wanna see any of this. That can cause straining, and it makes it difficult to move the bow in an easy manner. So we have our curved thumb underneath. Again, we have that looking glass. Nice wet spaghetti noodle, second and third fingers, curved pointer finger, and pinky on top. Now, let's take our bow, set it on your violin or viola shoulder. You should be seeing a 90-degree angle, so you're gonna set it toward the middle of the bow. Now just look at your bow hand, check that your fingers are nice and relaxed. With a little more experience, you should be able to lift up your fingers on command. That's how relaxed you should be. It's a good way to check for any tension. Again, maintaining that looking glass, that's very important. Imagine you're holding like an egg or a parakeet sitting right there. I have pet birds. They like to sit in funny spots. So holding a bird right here. You want to keep it nice and loose, and you don't want to be squeezing. You can see from multiple angles here. Beautiful. Now, tip our bow upward. We want to make sure that if we're setting up our bow hold and we're going to hold it, we don't try to hold it horizontally, especially if we don't have much experience doing this, because that requires a lot of pinky strength, and that's something that we have to build up over time. So if you're going to maintain your bow hold and not have it sitting on your shoulder, let's make sure we turn it upright or support it by holding it with our violin or viola hand on the stick. Beautiful. Now we have some exercises we can do. We can stir the pots and check that we can keep that bow hold. We can also practice some rhythms. So for example, we can go Mississippi, stop, stop. While maintaining that point with the shoulder, you might get a little bit of rosin on your shirt. It happens, you're a string player. We should check that we can keep that bow hold and not feel any sort of tension. All right, great. Now, the difference between a beginner bow hold and a professional bow hold comes from the placement of the thumb. The first, second, third, and fourth fingers are all the same. Just with the thumb, with the beginner bow hold, we start with it on the bottom. For the professional bow hold, we're moving it inside of the bow, right under the stick. The corner of your thumb making contact with the stick and the grip. You're still keeping that same shape, that curved shape, So start with that circle with your thumb under the stick. Just carefully move it up right here to maintain contact. Now we should still have that looking glass there. Notice it's a little bit smaller now. But now you have your professional bow hold. And all of your fingers stay the same. Your thumb is just now in a different place. All right, beautiful. So now, let's set our bows down. We're gonna do our posture. And I'm gonna turn my camera, maybe a little bit of a better angle. So first things first, grab your violin or viola, holding it in your violin or viola hand. And to get it up onto your shoulder, we are going to put our hand, our other hand, or bow hand, on the button underneath the instrument. We're gonna lift it up above our head, and then lift up our head this way. You're gonna look at the button as you bring it down around to your left shoulder, your violin or viola shoulder. As you're looking at the button, you're gonna slide it right under your chin, set your chin down on the chin rest. We want to make sure that we have our scroll nice and high. Keeping our scroll up, we don't want to have any drooping scrolls. We can put strain on our back and doesn't allow for a good sound once we put the two together. We have a nice straight fingerboard there also. If you look down your fingerboard, it should look like a flat plane. Scroll right there. We want to make sure if we're standing that our left foot, our elbow, our nose, and our scroll are all aligned. This might take a few minutes to feel comfortable, but take your time in getting set up because it's more important that you feel comfortable getting in your setup than not. So take your time, and then once you feel all nice and set, your instrument has a nice hold by your chin and your shoulder. You can drop your hand. Look, Ma, no hands. Beautiful. Okay, so those were more so beginner steps. Now for someone who's a little more advanced, we can skip the putting the hand on the button with our bow hand. With that, from our rest position, we can simply turn our instrument up and put it onto our shoulder. Essentially following all those same steps, we're just not putting our hand on the button. So still up this way and under the chin. We don't have to go as above our head. It can be more of a subtle movement. Good. You should still be able to drop your hand. And again, avoid squeezing. If you're feeling the need to squeeze, your instrument is probably not secure on your shoulder. It might be hanging a little low, or it's more toward the center than off to the side. Remember, we want our instruments up on our left shoulder. We don't want to wear them like a tie. Good. Yes, and take your time with the setup. Again, it is always important to make sure that you're properly set up before you play. Okay, now we are going to combine the two. So we've learned our violin viola setup and we've learned how to set up our bow hold. So now let's put the two together. And if that helps, you can set your bow on your string so that you can properly get those fingers into place. Beginners, make sure you have that nice looking glass right there. More advanced students, you'll still have your looking glass, but it's a little more small. Just remember that your thumb is curved and not flat underneath and sticking through. And always make sure that your bird is on his perch. We don't want our birds to fall off. All right, so we're gonna go to our A string. So violas, this is your first string. Violins, this is your second string. We're gonna place our bow kind of like the lower middle, just so your arm is creating a 90-degree angle, just to make sure we got that. Feel that balance. That'll help you check your bow hold as well. And now, just move it a little bit closer to the frog. We're just gonna do some beginning rhythms, and let's make sure that in between each note we stop and we glide. We want to make sure between each bow stroke we have an ending to the note. 1, 2, my turn. Those are some intro bow strokes, just like 3 different ones that we're going to practice today. So I'll play and then I'll give a count for you to play. 1, 2, my turn. 3, 4, your turn. Down, T, T, up, T, T. 1, 2, my turn. 3, 4, your turn. Apple, apple. 1, 2, my turn. 3, 4, your turn. Huckleberry, huckleberry. 1, 2, my turn. 3, 4, your turn. Mississippi, stop, stop. Very good. Yeah, those are just some intro bow strokes that we're gonna be trying today, and then those will help you as we start working on our music, because some of them are gonna appear later on. Now we have worked on our A string, so let's do the exact same thing on our D string. So violas, this is your 2nd string. Violins, this is your 3rd string. Now as we're doing this, we want to make sure our bow stays parallel to the bridge, perpendicular to the strings. We don't want to have any super diagonal bows. So that's going to mean that you're going to have to make sure you start with that right angle and that you're working from your lower arm, your wrist, and your elbow. Avoid pulling with your shoulder. 1, 2, my turn. 3, 4, your turn. Down, T, T, up, T, T. 1, 2, my turn. 3, 4, your turn. Apple, apple. 1, 2, my turn. 3, 4, your turn. Huckleberry, huckleberry. 1, 2, my turn. 3, 4, your turn. Mississippi, stop, stop. Good. Always make sure that we are stopping our bow in between bow strokes. And then as we are using our bow, we are gliding. Stop, glide, stop, glide. We don't want to be pushing our bow into the string too much. We don't want to hear any crunching. We don't want that. Have enough pressure on there that our bow can create some sound. So you can add a little more weight into your fingers if you feel like your sound is a little scratchy. And always make sure that your knuckles are relaxed. It's hard to produce a full sound if your knuckles are up like this. So imagine your hand is made of jello. Just let it relax. Good, yes. So we worked on our beginner and professional bow holds, our posture, advanced and beginner, holding the instrument without our hands, and some beginner bow strokes. Now those are just some things that you can practice at home as you're beginning to learn your instrument.